If you haven't done so already, go ahead and like, subscribe, share. That'll be greatly appreciated. Let's get right into it. I'm going to give you a few props that I'm looking at tonight. First player we're going to look at is going to be Allisha Gray, WNBA Atlanta Dream. We're looking at her rebounds. The prospect line is 4.5. As you can see out the books at FanDuel, it's 5.5 plus 100. Patino minus 120.5, and again 5.5 Bovado plus 100. Let's look at Allisha a little bit closer when it comes to the rebounds here. They're playing Connecticut. Projection 4.72. Let's look a little closer here. As you can see, she's went over 4 out of her last 10 games. WNBA, you have to, be a little careful when it comes, because the ladies seem to be a little bit inconsistent when it comes to their numbers. Her offensive and defensive rebounds over the last 10. You can see there. Let's just look at her total rebounds here. Last game she had 3 versus Minnesota. Let's look at her games against Connecticut. She had 10 and 6. So I do like that. She's averaged 8 rebounds in the 2 games versus Connecticut. And if you're looking at the 4.5 here that Prospects is given, you're looking at the 4.5 here, it may not be bad to take a shot on the over 4.5 here. You see the books got it pushed up to 5.5. So with Allisha Gray, may not be a bad option to look at the over on Allisha Gray. Let me know which way you're gonna go, but I'm leaning toward the over on Allisha Gray. Over 4.5 rebounds. Let's go out here and we're gonna look at Fernando Tatis Jr. Bases 1.5. Minus 124 on FanDuel, minus 120 on at Caesars, and at BetMGM he's minus 124.3 to go over 1.5 bases. Let's look a little bit closer at Fernando Tatis Jr. here. I'll go up here and switch this to MLB. And we're going to find the San Diego game. San Diego plays Toronto. We're going to go over here. We're going to look at bases. Total bases. And we're going to find Fernando Tatis Jr. here. The projection is 1.25. Let's look a little bit closer at Fernando Tatis Jr. And we're going to look at his last 10. His last 10, he's went over 1.5 total bases 5 out of 10 times, which is 50%. And he's done it in his last 2 games. He's batting .266 versus right-hand pitching. He's facing Chris Bassett. He has not faced Bassett since 2017. Let's look at against Toronto. Against Toronto, 718, 719, which was yesterday and the day before. He had 3 total bases. Game prior to that, he had 2. Very heavy favorite to go over 1.5. When we check here, minus 124, minus 120, minus 124.3. But you have to take everything into consideration, like how he's doing against right-handed pitching, and he's never faced this pitcher before. Let me know which way you're going to go on this one. I don't have a clear uh, choice on which way I'm going to go on this one. I think it's a good prop to target, especially if you're doing it through the books. Uh, we may want to go on the other end of this through the books, under um, 1.5 total bases. And let's look at that a little bit closer here. Let's choose the over under here. And let's look at the odds. Again, over MGM got him at minus 145. DraftKings got him at 145. Caesars minus 137. For the over, MGM plus 110. DK same plus 110. Caesars got him at minus 107. Again, like I say, may not be a bad option to target the under on this one at plus 110. I'm not seeing no clear advantage over here where he's gonna get us 1.5 total bases, even though he's done it in the last 2 games. Remember, all streaks do come to an end when you're dealing with MLB, and he's only batting .266 against right-handed pitching, and hasn't faced his pitcher today. Like I say, at the books, we may be able to get a little positive result by taking the under on this one. Let's look at another player here. The third player I'm going to look at is Michael Kopech, Chicago White Sox. We're looking at his strikeouts. The prop is 4.5 on PrizePicks. Over here, FanDuel got him minus 124.4 to go over. DraftKings got him minus 120. What was that? Yeah, DraftKings got him minus 122.5 to go over. Caesars minus 109. BetGM got him at minus 113 to go over. So let's look at Michael a little bit closer here. Go over here, we're going to check strikeouts, and we're going to go to the Chicago White Sox game. They're playing the New York Mets. 4.5 is the line, projection of 5.2. Let's look at his numbers here. So last season, let's make sure this pops up here. Let's go back into props.cash. And again, Chicago White Sox, New York Mets. And here we go. As you can see, and that's for the season, he's 65%. He's went over 4.5 strikeouts 11 out of 17 times. And let's look at his last 10. His last 10, he's even better. 7 out of 10, 70%. Let's look at his last 4 games here. He's only had 5 strikeouts in 1 game. And if you look over here, not a great matchup for him versus New York Mets batting. New York Mets is one of the better teams, K percentage wise, of not striking out against right-handed pitchers. So me, just initially looking at this, looking at the numbers, I'm going to lean toward the under on the 4.5. Let me know which way you're going to go. But just looking at the numbers, I really pay attention to these numbers over here in red. It's a great indicator on what's going to happen. And I do not like them being one of the New York Nets New York Mets being one of the better teams of not striking out versus right-handed pitchers. So I'm kind of leaning toward the under 4.5 strikeouts on this one, on PrizePicks and at the books. On PrizePicks and at the books, I'm leaning toward the under on this one. So those are 3 plays I like. Drop some notes down in the comments. Let me know which way you're going. But that's all I have for today. Go ahead and like, subscribe. Those things are greatly appreciated, and it does help out my channel. See you guys on the next video.